on this video, I'm going to show you how to drive in really busy traffic. Let's go. So during this time of day, people are in a rush to get home. There's a lot more traffic on the roads, so it can be a bit trickier to drive. But if you follow these simple tricks, if you follow this simple advice, it's nice and it can be easy. So at this time of day, it can get really busy because everyone's trying to get home. People are less patient, people are going to rush a bit more as well, so you need to watch out for that. So right now, as I'm approaching this traffic light, I'm keeping an eye on it because it could change. I'm looking behind me as well in my mirror to make sure there's no one right behind me. And then now that it's changing, I can ease off the gas and start braking gently and put my clutch down, and I'll go into first gear. Because the light's going to change very soon, I want to be ready so I can stay in first gear. I see a lot of people saying don't stay in first gear, but if you're a learner, this is a much easier way, and then once you get more experienced, then you can do it anyhow you like. But for now, I would keep it in first gear and then be ready. You're going to hear a lot of people beeping as well at this kind of time because, like I said before, people are in a rush to get home. But I think that motorcyclist wasn't moving quick enough. They were looking around, which is I always say to people, when you're at the traffic lights, if you're the first person, don't start getting distracted. Don't look around in different places. Stay focused on the lights so that you don't miss them when they're changing. So we've got the zebra crossing here, and I see a lady. So I could have easily missed this person here because there was an ambulance going past me, and then there was more action happening over there. So it was very easy for me to miss that if I wasn't paying attention. That's why it's really important before you go over or go past the zebra crossing, check both sides for any people that are walking near it or walking towards it. That way you're not going to miss them. So we've got this car ahead of us. Looks like they're braking to go through that small gap. I'm checking my mirrors to see who's around me. There's a motorbike on my left there. So I want to be aware of what they're doing as well. I don't want to focus too much on them, but I do want to be aware of what they're doing. So like right now, they're going past me. So if I was trying to go around that van, I need to make sure I know that motorcyclist is there, because you see he's weaving in and out of traffic, different sides, so it's a bit unpredictable. So we've got another zebra crossing, and we've got the bus blocking our view, and then we've got the van blocking the pedestrian crossing partially. I'm just going to slow down, check properly, then I can carry on now that I know there's no one there. And this bus, check my right mirror, he indicated once I was really going around him, so I'm just going to commit and go past him. This is something that a lot of learners kind of struggle with, is deciding whether to keep moving or stop. There, the bus indicated as us already decided to go around him, so I carried on and committed. Keeping a nice gap between me and the car in front so I can keep an eye on these lights and then make sure that I don't go through them. Because if you follow the car in front of you too closely, it's really easy to miss these lights because you're focusing on going forward. But if you keep a nice distance, you can then see the lights and make the right decision. Again, I'm in first gear, ready to go. Now that it's changing, I'm going to move off. I'm not going that fast, just bringing up my clutch really smoothly. I barely touched the gas because I didn't need to there. So it's quite narrow through this section here. We've got people opening up car doors, which is making it even narrower. So I'm just going to go through nice and slowly, no need to rush through here. And there's also traffic up ahead as well, no one's going anywhere fast. The mistake I see a lot of learners make here is they'll try to keep up with this car in front and go really fast, and then end up having to brake really hard. There's no point because no one's going anywhere anyway. We've got the bus in front of us as well. There's a bus behind me too. So I'm just going to keep going through, and then once I've gone through, the bus behind me can come through as well, and then the other bus can start moving. One thing you want to pay attention to is road markings on the floor. It's really easy to miss them when it's busy like this, because especially if you're following too closely, which is another reason why you don't want to follow too close. You can easily miss junctions, you can easily miss box junctions and pedestrian crossings like this. So right now the light is green, but there's no space for me to wait beyond this crossing. But once the car's moved and I can see the light is still green, then I go forward. Yeah, so you don't want to be blocking the pedestrian crossing by mistake. Make sure it's clear, make sure you can clear it first before you go past it. Yeah, just slowing down here because the space is getting a bit narrow. Have my clutch ready. You see, so these cars, this is my side of the road, but the cars are already coming through aggressively, so I'm not gonna crash into them. I was ready to stop for them. And I'm gonna turn right here, mirror, mirror, signal right. And you're also gonna get people following you close behind sometimes as well, because like I said, people are trying to get home in a rush. Don't let that pressure you into going fast though. Like right now, this is a 20-mile-an-hour zone. The car behind me, I wish I could show you. I should have put the camera on as well, but they're following quite closely. But you don't want to let that pressure you into going fast. Drive at the normal speed limit or drive at the pace that you think is safe. So here I'm turning right. I'm going to position myself into this box, just like I'm parking here. I have my signal on, waiting for any oncoming traffic. I'm also looking at this light here when it changes, because there's a filter arrow here for us. So if it changes to a green arrow, then I'll know that these guys have got a red light. But I'm also waiting for them to stop. So like that car, it looks like it's stopping, and then we've got the filter arrow as well. Then that means I can start moving. So don't just focus on the cars, focus on the lights as well. So it's still 20 miles per hour here. We've got a junction ahead of us, crossroads. I'm gonna turn next right, so I'm gonna check my center mirror, right mirror, signal right, and position myself along the line here to turn right. I think I'll go into first for this one. Notice I'm turning as well, so I did a video recently where I was telling people you don't need to shuffle your hands to turn. Just turn naturally. Turn the way you find it easier. That's the best way. You're not gonna get marked down because you're not steering like this. You can steer how you like. As long as you get the car where you want it to go to, that's fine. So here, checking my right mirror because I'm going back into the center. Still got it in first because I want to go slowly here. There's a lot going on. We've got an underground station there on a bend, and there's vehicles parked on both sides. I can see a vehicle coming through from that side. So I'm just gonna slow down, use my clutch to actually come to a gentle stop. Let this guy do what he's doing, check my mirror, and then carry on. There's not much room through here, so I'm looking for any gaps that any cars can come down, they can go into, or I can go into. So this car is flashing me down there. So when people flash, that usually means there's a space up there. Doesn't always mean that. Sometimes they might flash you to tell you to wait, so you need to kind of see what they're doing as well. But he stopped there, which is kind of a good sign that there's a space for us up here. I couldn't see the space, but he flashed and stopped there. So check my mirror and then go to this side. Check my right mirror again and then go back to the center. Yeah. And then straight away I'm thinking about the next situation here, which is this car, and there's no space for me here. So people here will try to move left, but there's no point. Just stay in the middle until you can see a space for you further down, then you go into the left. There's no point me moving left now because there's no space. I've got the cyclist coming down as well. I've got to think about him too. Like, where am I going to meet him? Looks like I'm going to meet him just about there. So he's got lots of space. So I'm hoping that he'll do the right thing, and he did. Nice and slowly through here. Make sure this pedestrian gets out of the way. Notice the whole time I've been in two on this section. I don't need to touch to gear 3 yet because this is all still 20 miles per hour and they're very narrow roads as well. Here, go around each other without even stopping. I'm keeping an eye on the car behind me as well because I want to see what they're doing. And because of the car behind me, my decisions might be a bit different if there was no one behind me. So I'm looking at the cars on the left there, on the right there, I can see a reflection of a light coming through, and then there's a car there. So sometimes on a bend especially, you might see cars, you might see the lights or the reflection of the lights before you actually see the car itself. So that's what you want to look out for so that you're more prepared. Here I'm going to turn left, so mirror, mirror, signal left. I definitely want to go into first for this. I can see pedestrians there as well waiting at the junction. These people are both indicating, but I want to make sure that they're actually turning first, and they are. Especially motorbikes. Sometimes when motorbikes are indicating to turn, sometimes they don't even turn, they just have the signal on by mistake. Because in a car, when you signal and then you make a turn, it will cancel itself. I believe on a motorbike, or especially scooters, you have to cancel it manually. So a lot of times they forget. So make sure if they're close to the junction, make sure they're turning first before you commit. Here I'm going to take the next right, so mirror, signal right. Position myself just by the center of the line and then make my turn. Yeah, you don't have to always go into first gear for every single turn. It depends on the car, it depends on the turn, depends on the speed and what's going on in the junction as well. I'm going to pull over on the left, so mirror, signal left. Check my left mirror. I've got my clutch down already. I think I'll just leave it in gear 2 as I stop actually, because you can do that as well. Leave it in second, come to a nice smooth stop, handbrake on, neutral, cancel my signal, and then I'm going to drive on again. Get my car into gear, do my checks. I think I'll signal because there's a few people here. There's a car there as well with a driver inside, so I'm just going to signal, get a bit of a biting point because we're on a slight hill there, so that I don't roll back, then get in second. Approaching the end of the road, so I'm going to go right at the end here, so mirror, signal right. And the car in front of me is crawling to that junction because it's a blind junction, can't really see, it's a bit closed. So I'm going to go into first so I can go slowly as well. I can't really see much, maybe even stop for a second, check both sides, and then come out. Yeah, if you can't see properly and it's really closed, don't be scared to just stop for a second and have a proper check. You're much better off doing it that way than rushing through and hoping that it's going to be safe. I think a lot of learners are scared to hesitate so much that they rush through junctions and then they end up failing. You have to remember, people fail way more for rushing into junctions than hesitating. We're going to turn right at the end here, mirror, signal. Again, I'll go into first here because I can't really see much of the left properly here. So I'm just going to stretch out my neck so I can see properly, checking both sides as I come out. Yeah, keep checking because at some point I could change my mind if I saw something last second. Just give this car some space, because I don't know what he's doing. Looks like he's looking for a parking space, but we don't know what he's doing. So I'm just giving him some space. At the end, I'm going to turn left. So mirror, signal left. I'll get into first on the approach. There are pedestrians waiting to cross, but this guy is not going to let them cross. But I'll let them cross. I'll let them know that I'm letting them cross as well, by going really slowly and actually stopping the car. And there's no point me blocking this section right now while that car is in the way. Once this lady's gone though, then I'll move forward. Even if those people are coming, they're a bit far away, I don't need to wait for them. Then once I get here, I'll check both sides and then make my turn. You notice I'm always checking, double checking, triple checking even sometimes. That's how you're going to save yourself from, coming out at the wrong time at a junction. So many times people fail because they will check, they'll see nothing coming, and then they'll think, yeah, it's good now, that's all right, I'm going to carry on going. And if they'd done one more check, they would have seen something coming and it would have saved the whole test. Yeah. And in real life, or once you get your license, that could save you from actually crashing. So always double check, triple check if you need to. Okay, going into this bend, I can see traffic up ahead as well. So whenever you're going into a bend, expect anything to be after the bend. It could be traffic, it could be something on the floor, an accident, anything. I think a lot of people when they drive, they don't, especially new drivers and learners, they're not thinking about what could be around the corner. They're just thinking everything's going to be all right. Once you start thinking about what could be there, it makes it a lot safer for you to drive. makes it easier to drive as well, because you're then actually expecting it and you're ready to react, and then you can drive at the right speed as well. So nice and slowly through here. See, the light is red. There's no point rushing to the lights right now because it's red anyway, and I can see everyone stopping up there. Yeah, clutch down. Keeping a nice gap between me and the car in front. Yeah, I can even go into neutral if I want to rest my foot, because the cars in front, there's a lot of cars between me and the traffic lights, so I don't need to worry about getting ready quickly. Once the cars in front of me start moving, then I can get the car ready, and that way it's not going to be too difficult. But if you're a fresh beginner, I'll still have the car ready right now. I'll have it in gear, ready to go. But now the car's moving, check my mirrors, and then bring the clutch up smoothly, adding some gas. You see the car in front braking because there's not a big space here. So I'm just going to go through slowly as well, checking both sides. Yeah. Now I've got priority. So the first car went, this second car has to wait, this white car has to wait. When learners experience that kind of thing where the car in front turns in front of them, sometimes they get confused. They're like, oh wait, who's got priority? It's just because the first car went, only because they thought they had enough time, and they did have enough time. But then the second car had to wait for me. So you need to be sure about that. Because if you start getting scared and start slowing down too much, the second car is going to start thinking that you got a red light. And then they will turn in front of you. Yeah, so you got to be confident and show that you know what you're doing and keep moving so that they can wait for you. Yeah, and you notice the car in front has got his wheels over the line a little bit. That's because the bus is in the way there. Don't be afraid to do this, okay? So if you need to go over the line a little bit, especially here, there's quite a lot of space. All the cars that are coming from this side have plenty of room, so you can just check your mirror and go a bit over the line so that you're not too close to this bus here. I see a lot of learners struggle to stay in the lane that they're in already, even if there was another vehicle that on that side, and they still try to get in that lane and then end up getting too close to the bus, for instance. You don't need to worry about the lines too much in that situation. As long as you've got enough space between you and the vehicle on this side, that's the most important thing. Again, I'm going to rest my foot because it's quite busy, lots of traffic up ahead. I think I'm going to turn right on this one. Because turning right at traffic lights when it's busy like this can be a bit tricky. So I'm thinking about getting ready, see the cars moving, biting point, gas, handbrake down. So you see people are beeping up ahead because people are getting stuck. So I'm going to let everyone around me know that I'm going to turn right. See pedestrians walking in front of the car. I'm going to neutral just so I can rest my foot. Remember, you don't have to do it like this. I'm just doing it like this because I can, and I can get ready quickly enough. What you see sometimes is learners that are not experienced, they'll wait for the light to go green and then they'll try to like rush and then they end up stalling. Instead of doing it that way, even if you do want to rest your foot for a bit, before the lights change, don't wait for the light to go green to then start getting ready. Before the lights change, get into first gear so that you're not having to fight with the gear stick and get the biting point. You're ready to go, yeah? So like now, let's say it's still red, but I'm going to start preparing myself. I'll go into gear. Yeah. Test the biting point a bit because this is on a hill. I'm going to check my mirrors because if I release the handbrake, you see, the car rolls backwards. So I'm going to get my biting point first and then handbrake down, add a bit of gas, and I'm going to position myself for this right turn just here. Yeah, so this gives enough space for the cars behind me to go past, but also not getting in the way of these cars that are going straight down. Yeah. looking for a nice gap. So once that white car has gone, check my right mirror, and then I can make my move. Sticking to the right hand lane because there's no point going to the left. If those cars weren't there, I would have gone to the left lane, but it didn't make sense to go left there because there were parked cars there. I'll take the next left. So mirror, mirror, signal left. I'm gonna go over the bus stop because you can go over bus stops. Don't confuse them with bus lanes. Then got this guy coming out of the parking space. This is what I was talking about, being ready for anything as you turn in or you're going into a bend. Be ready for anything as you turn in. So like there, if I wasn't prepared, I could have hit that guy, or I'd have to bang on my brake. But because I was prepared for anything, I braked really gently. So here, checking both sides, listening as well for any noise, because sometimes you might hear something before you actually see it. Turning left here, mirror, mirror, signal left. Clutch down so my car comes to a slow, and then make my move. And then again here, mirror, mirror, signal left. Got a motorbike behind me, so I'm going to position myself towards the left so that everyone knows that I'm going to turn left as well. Checking both sides. Okay, so you see that motorbike went even though there's a car coming. This is a mistake that people make because they see another vehicle going and they think, oh, because they've gone, it must be safe. But if I'd gone the same time as the motorbike went, I would have crashed into this Tesla, or they would have had to like brake really hard. Yeah. So don't rely on other people moving to then decide that it's safe. Use your own eyes. So like here we're in traffic waiting to turn right at the end of the road. I can put my car into neutral, and this car's got a stop start, so when I go into neutral and have my handbrake on, the engine turns off. It's still on in the background, but it's not turning right now, so it's not burning any fuel. And this is a good idea if you're in a traffic jam like this, you're not going anywhere quick, you might want to do that so that you're not polluting the area around you. Yeah, so like we just done a little move here, and we're gonna stop again, go into neutral. I can see in the reflection of the cars on the left there when the other cars in front of me are moving. I can't see from in front of the Tesla because it's a bit high and it's got tinted windows, but when I look in the reflections of the cars ahead, or the ones that are parked up, I can see the cars that are well ahead of the Tesla. So when they start moving, then I can start preparing to move. But if they don't move, I can't go anywhere because everyone stopped. So that's what I look out for when I'm thinking about getting ready. So like now I can see cars moving in the reflection, so I can start getting ready, because it means at some point this Tesla is probably going to move, just like that. Yeah, notice my clutch is not high up, it's just around the biting point, because I want to go really slowly. If I bring up too high like this, you see, this is too fast for this kind of traffic jam. Yeah. So for going really slowly in this kind of slow traffic, I keep my clutch just around the biting point, and then down again at the biting point, and then down again. Any higher than that, it's going to go too fast for this. And then I'm going to turn right. I'm not going to indicate just yet, but I can already see that it's kind of busy up there. We've got cars trying to turn in, which is why there's traffic here, because it's hard to get onto that road. Turning right is always going to be harder, or when you're turning from a minor road into a major road. Even from a major road into a minor road, it's always going to be harder to turn right, because you have to deal with more vehicles. If we were turning left, we'd have to just worry about the cars coming from that side. You still look both sides, but you're not having to worry about any cars coming from the left side. But because we're going across two lanes, we've got to think about those cars coming from this way and those cars coming from that way. And I'm going to show you how to do it properly. And this one is going to be extra tricky because there's a box junction on the floor as well on the other side. So we need to watch out for that too. The key here is being patient and also being ready to go. So I'm checking both sides. It looks like it's clear. Okay, this wasn't too difficult. I was hoping it would be more difficult than that so I could show you, but it was nice and clear when I got there, so I didn't have to wait too long. I could just move out and turn. And then straight into another traffic jam. Keeping a nice distance between me and the car in front. I can see the lights going green, so it doesn't make sense me going into neutral. I'm just keeping it in gear so that when the cars in front of me start moving, I can then move as well. Checking my mirrors. Get into second. Keep an eye on the light. Once I get like this point, I'm not going to stop even if the light starts changing. Pick a point of no return. When you're dealing with traffic lights, practice deciding when you're not going to stop anymore, even if the light starts changing. That way, when you drive, if the light goes to amber, you're not going to get surprised because you already made up your mind about whether you're going to stop or not. Got another motorbike on the side of me. I was aware of him, but I wasn't trying to move out the way for him, which is what a lot of learners will do. They'll see someone behind them and then they'll try to move out the way for them, and that makes the driving more dangerous. Yeah? Keeping an eye on his boss, it's indicating, so I'm going to slow down, and I'm making it clear as well that I'm not going around him. I made it very clear about slowing down, and my positioning as well wasn't going past him, so the driver knew that I was letting him come out, so then he can come out nice and safely. I'm keeping a nice distance from him as well. You notice it's indicating right. I don't think it's going to be turning right. It's just letting us know that it's going around his vehicle here. You don't need to do that yourself, but I've noticed a lot of drivers do that. See a van reversing into the road. And there's a bus stop just before the junction. We want to go into the left lane. That's where the bus stop is as well. But I don't think it's picking up anybody from there. So I'm going to go into first, check my mirror because I'm going towards the left side. And then I'm going to creep to this light nice and slowly. Yeah, no need to rush. Have my clutch ready. And because I'm in first, I'm going to put my clutch down first while braking really gently. And then stop there. Yeah, you notice the whole time I'm driving smoothly, I'm not rushing anywhere. Yeah, that's where a lot of learners make the mistake. They think they have to be really quick everywhere. You don't. If it's busy like this and you're coming up to a slow section where people already stopped, it doesn't make sense trying to get here really quickly. Just do it nice and smoothly. So the lights are changing. Get into first, get my biting point, gas, handbrake down, and I'm going to make my turn first before I change gears. The motorbike behind me as well. Then add lots of gas now. Change to second, way more gas. I can go straight to fourth actually from now because I'm already nearly doing 40 miles per hour. So I skipped 3, went straight to fourth. And you've got this van driver going kind of slow. So I'm just going to slow down a bit so I don't undertake him. I'm also keeping an eye on the traffic ahead of me as well and what's behind me. So I'm braking gently. There's a strong chance that the lights are going to change. So I'm checking what's behind me first, who's next to me, and I'm thinking about a point of no return. Yeah, I'm going to slow down a bit. This lady was in the way, but if that lady wasn't there, I wouldn't have braked that much. We've got this taxi driver coming out, we're going straight into the right lane. And again, this light might change. We've got another pedestrian running in front of us. Looks like it's smooth sailing from now on, but we're still going to concentrate on what's ahead of us. We've got quite a lot of traffic in this lane. Most of them are quite close together, but you notice I've got a nice gap between me and the car in front. There's no need for me to be really close to them. All the time checking my mirrors so I can see who's around me. I need to be aware of what's going on behind me. So far I can see there's an ambulance coming or a police car. They're quite far away at the moment, but I'm going to keep an eye on them and they're in the far right lane. And then now I can hear them. I don't need to stop or slow down too much. I'm just slowing down because of the traffic ahead of me, not because of the police car. They were in the other lane doing their own thing. I didn't worry about them too much when they went past me. But if they were here, for instance, trying to join this lane, then I would have to think about it and maybe do something. So here, approaching a roundabout. I'm in third. I'm gonna go straight from third to first. I don't need to go into second because I'm going kind of slow right now. Going to first. And then creep up slowly to this roundabout. Got the car behind me is turning left, so let them do their thing. And then I'm gonna check my mirror, signal left. You notice I signal left after that road there, because if I signaled before then, people are gonna think that I'm turning there. So I'm turning left. This is a roundabout. It might not look like it, but it's a roundabout. So I'm gonna be checking the right from early. Watching the kind of traffic that's coming on from the right, because it's going to help me decide how I'm going to join it as well. Is it busy? Are they coming through fast? Yeah, all the time checking the right, but also checking where I'm going as well, because sometimes people will just focus too much on the right and then they lose track of where they're going. That car's quite far away, so I can make my move, get second, cancel my signal, get into third. I want to join the dual carriageway over that side, so I'm going to check my mirror and signal right to the A406. I'll keep my signal on. This car wants to join this lane. I want to join the lane that they're in. Check that mirror again. And then I'm in here now, cancel my signal, and then gear up. So in this kind of road, I'm looking way ahead of me where that lorry is. That's how far I'm looking. Then I'm looking ahead of me just there where those cars are. And I'm looking behind me as well, and the side. So some people just get tunnel vision and they only look at one spot. Don't do it like that. Look, have a good idea what's going on way ahead of you, next to you, and behind you as well. That way you're more prepared for anything. So like, all those guys up ahead, they look like they're braking. So I'm just going to cover my brake as well. Check what's next to me here. Could be a huge lorry. And I can see a sign telling us there's a slip road. Let me just close this so you can hear me better. I can see a sign for a slip road joining us here. So I'm going to check this mirror on the right hand side. I'm going to switch lanes actually, just to give these guys a bit more space to join the dual carriageway, and that way I can keep moving smoothly as well. You don't have to do this, but if you're comfortable enough to do it and there's space on the right hand lane there, it makes it much easier for everyone around you to join, including yourself as well, because then you can keep moving smoothly. Because if I didn't change lanes, I'll be way back there now. You've got a car joining from the left hand side. That's going to affect those cars, and then potentially they might want to change lanes. So don't just think about what's happening in your lane, think about the whole picture. Are there people trying to join that lane, and how fast are they going into that lane? Or is there somebody going slow in that lane? So this van, for instance, is going a bit slower than the speed limit, which means that this car, he might decide to come in this lane. And then we've got this car on the right. We can't undertake them. They should be in this lane or a bit more left if they want to go slower than this, but because they're there now, we have to kind of deal with it. Once I can see a nice space on the left, I'm not overtaking anybody anymore, I can go into the left hand lane, cancel my signal. But this car looked like they were going to come out, but I think she changed her mind at the last second. So you don't want to be scared, but you want to be ready in case they do something crazy like that. But luckily she didn't. Then we've got these cars coming onto the dual carriageway from basically a T-junction there. I'm just going to slow it down a bit. Give this person time to accelerate. Going to third. I'm turning left soon, so I don't want to be changing lanes right now. Yeah, and I'm going to let people know nice and early as well. So anybody behind me has plenty of time to see my signal. They can change lanes if they need to. They know that I'm going to slow down. Yeah, I've already geared down to second. Brake a little bit here. Check my mirror before I make my turn. And then turn in. Yeah, now that we're off the dual carriageway, it's really important to remind yourself that you're no longer on a fast road and that you've got to drive a different way now. Yeah, so on the dual carriageway is fast acceleration, faster speeds, but here is nice and slow again, gentle acceleration, and there's a lot more going on here as well. Just like this car coming through, but luckily they're going to wait up there. I'll do my checks and then signal right. Okay, busy junction here. So remember, these kind of junctions is about being patient. Yeah, checking both sides. So it looks like the cars up there are stopping. There's a car coming through. Yeah, they're stopping there as well. So I want to make sure that they're stopped first before coming out. I don't want to just assume that they're going to stop because there's a traffic jam in front of them. I want to make sure they've stopped first and then I come out. So this Pelican crossing is probably going to change soon to flashing amber. So I'm going to go into first so that way I can keep moving. What you see a lot of learners do there is they'll stop and then now you're stopped for no reason. Yeah, those lights don't stay red for a long time, especially if there's no one coming up to cross on them as well. Be ready to keep moving because if it's flashing amber and there's no one crossing, you can keep going.